Have you ever felt stuck? Like you're standing right on the edge of a huge change, but something just keeps holding you back? Well, today we're going to get into how the simple and, let's be honest, often overlooked act of being still can actually become the most powerful tool for unlocking our creativity, especially in those moments. Wow. Okay, let's just start with that line. It really pulls you in, doesn't it? This isn't just some poetic sentence, it's the very beginning of a journey from a life of rigid, predictable lines to one of just boundless creativity. And you know what? It all started with a simple pause. So, our story kicks off at a crossroads. The author of our source material was an architect, a master of structure, of certainty, but they felt this pull, this nagging feeling, drawing them toward the complete opposite, the blank page of the unknown, the life of a writer. And that right there was their big creative conflict. Now, what's so fascinating here is the force that was holding them back. It wasn't a lack of passion or desire. Nope. It was the gravitational pull of the familiar. You know what I'm talking about. Old routines, the safety of what you already know. Those things can cast a huge shadow over your resolve. It's a feeling I think pretty much all of us can relate to. So, what was the game changer? Stillness. And look, we're not talking about hours of intense meditation or some silent retreat in the mountains. For the author, stillness was just the act of pausing. That's it. And in those quiet little moments, new ideas finally had a chance to bubble up to the surface. That stillness became a bridge, connecting the comfort they knew with the incredible promise of what they could become. And here's the thing, this personal struggle, it's not unique at all. It's actually a perfect illustration of this universal tension that we all feel. It's like being pulled between two completely opposite shores. Think about it like this. On one side, you've got the known shore. This is where habit, comfort, and safety live. Then, way over on the other side, is the unknown horizon. It's filled with all this creative possibility, but yeah, also a good bit of fear. Most of us, well, we spend our lives just treading water right in between those two lands. Man, this metaphor from the source material it just nails it. We naturally cling to the safety of that stagnant pond because, well, it's easy, it's predictable. But our creativity, our potential for real growth, that's the flowing river. And it's always calling us to just let go and start moving toward that unknown horizon. The real question is, how do we find the courage to actually make that crossing? Well, it turns out this isn't just one person's experience. So many other people have used these quiet moments to navigate their own divides. Let's take a look at a few really powerful examples. For some people, that quiet moment is all about accountability. After just a moment of reflection, Fit Philosophy made this huge shift from blaming someone else to taking ownership. That little mental pause, that quiet change in perspective, it turned a feeling of being a victim into a catalyst for real effort and ultimately real change. For others, it's a quiet question that just changes everything. Anne-Marie felt, in her words, painfully employed, totally trapped in these endless meetings. And in a moment of stillness, she just asked herself that one simple, powerful question. That little inquiry was the spark that lit up her whole journey toward finding more meaningful work. Oh, and I love this one. For anyone who has ever felt like their voice isn't being heard, Tamara Drayton's story it's a perfect testament to the power of stillness. She simply began to write into the silence, and by doing that, she created a space for her voice to finally emerge. The key part is, she had to create the space first. And the examples just keep on coming. Andrea Puente found that stillness helped her to act from a place of abundance, not desperation. For another writer who was totally burned out, it was the simple silence of the morning that healed their creativity and literally brought their words back. Okay, so we have all these really compelling stories, right? But what is really going on here? Let's shift gears a little, from the anecdotes to the underlying principles that make this quiet reflection so incredibly powerful. So believe it or not, there's actually some fascinating science at play. It's called attention restoration theory, and it basically explains that our brains have this limited supply of what's called directed attention. That's the kind you use to focus hard on work or solve a tough problem. When it runs out, we feel mentally exhausted. But quiet, natural environments, they engage something different called soft fascination. This lets our directed attention rest and recharge. So these pauses aren't just feel-good moments. They are literally restoring our ability to think clearly and creatively. It's pretty clear. And this is not a new idea. Not at all. We see this exact pattern throughout history. Centuries ago, Thoreau retreats to Walden Pond and finds the clarity he needs to write his most influential work. In our own time, a painter uses meditation to break free from her routine and ends up creating a sold-out show. And our author uses pauses to weave their essays together. The tool is exactly the same: stillness. And the outcomes? Absolutely transformational. So, I think the really crucial point here is that the change that comes from stillness is rarely some dramatic lightning bolt moment, you know? More often, it's a quiet whisper. It's this gentle, internal process of reflection that slowly but surely reshapes our perspective and our entire path. Okay, this all sounds great, right? But how do we actually do it? How do we make space for this in our own chaotic, busy lives? Well, the good news is it's a lot simpler than you might think. You really don't need to book a week-long silent retreat. It can start with a single conscious breath right in the middle of a stressful day. It can be a 5-minute walk outside just to get away from your screen. Or it can simply be the act of sitting for a moment and just allowing your thoughts to settle without any judgment. And just remember, this is a practice. It's like a garden, right? Your creativity and your clarity, they need to be tended with care. The arc of any meaningful creation is long, and it's nurtured not by frantic, crazy effort, but by quiet, consistent persistence. So I'll leave you with this question from our source material. It's both a challenge and an invitation. Just think about it. Where can you find your own little pocket of quiet? What silent corner, no matter how small it is, will you enter to spark your own creativity? Nurture it, and just see what begins to bloom.